This is how we do it.
You're listening to the Nasser Kyobe Show.
Nasser played not just high-level high school football. He was a logger at UPS.
Over the middle it goes, and the pass was complete, and he gets absolutely belted at the 40-yard line. The sideline erupts as Nasser Kyobe just exploded the wide receiver.
Did Nasser say things like, I'm sending you to outer space?
And as he got his momentum going, was chopped down. Nice tackle there from Nasser Kyobe.
Go Hawks.
Wilson under center. Lynch the single setback. Russell takes the snap. Hands to Marshawn, who bounces it to the left side inside the 30. Down to 20. Still moving. 10, 5. Touchdown! Seahawks! Marshawn Lynch does it to the Saints again. Bounces it outside. A big stiff arm, and he's in. And with 2:40 to play, the Seahawks on top, 22-8. And hang on, baby, we might be able to punch that ticket to next week. It's almost in sight.
How's it going, everybody? You're listening to another edition of the Nasser Kyobe Show, NFC Championship edition. Thanks, Steve. That was Steve Rabel on the call of the NFC Divisional Playoff game between the Saints and our Seattle Seahawks. Whew, still got chills. Moving on to the next round. First time we've been in the NFC Championship since 2005. Wow. Whew, we had a great show lineup for you guys today. A lot of good sound. We're going to preview the big bad 49ers that roll into town this Sunday. Before we get there, what a game. What a game. And thanks again, Steve Rabel and 710 ESPN for the call. You know, some will say, it wasn't pretty, wasn't that. But, hey, in the playoffs, as Al Davis says, just win, baby, just win. Okay? Survive and advance, and that's all that matters. And like I said, we got a lot to talk to. We're going to discuss some critics of Russell Wilson, talk about his struggles of late, but no complaints from me. Our running game got it going, and that was just the call. Marshawn Lynch, a 31-yard touchdown run in the fourth quarter that pretty much sealed it. And yeah, the Saints kind of came back and got into it a little bit at the end, but you never felt through that whole time that the game was in jeopardy. Yeah, they were one score away from tying it plus a 2-point conversion, but I mean, that game was done. It was 23-8. We don't get that onside kick. We get our hands team out there. That's a play Golden Tate usually makes. He recovers that. The game's over. And a couple other plays that happened early in the game that could have been over before that. It could have been 20-0 at halftime. The guys came out great, and here's a couple highlights. The weather was monsoon. Okay, monsoon. And for our offense to look that good in that kind of weather, I thought it was great. And here's a great play by Doug Baldwin.
Wilson takes a snap. He's going to lay it up over the top. He's got Doug Baldwin. He's got it on the near sideline with a catch. Knocked out of bounds inside the 35. A beautiful over-the-shoulder throw and catch. Doug Baldwin once again comes through for the Seahawks. A 24-yard gain, and the Seahawks pick up a big first down.
Okay, let me rephrase what I just said before I played that cut. We didn't look great, but with those conditions, 40-mile-an-hour winds, rain coming down sideways, I'm telling you it was a monsoon. And for us to have anything through the air that day was great in my book. We got the ball rolling. We're running the football. Marshawn Lynch just went off, okay? Dude went off. He was eating his Skittles. It was a great atmosphere. And it got to the Saints more than it got to us. Here, and the game would have been a little different if the Saints come up on 2 of the field goals they missed, but here's one of them.
Shane Graham will do the kicking. Out of a hold of Luke McCown, the backup quarterback. Off the left hash mark. Spot. Kick is long enough, and it's no good again. Shane has missed 2. The former Seahawk, Shane Graham, has missed 2 field goals. The Seahawks dodge another bullet.
And there it was. The weather really only affected them. It affects both teams, but we didn't come up short in any of those situations, so I'm excited, man. I can't really contain it. We were going to the NFC Championship game, man. I've been waiting for this day since I was in 8th grade, I believe it was. No, I was a freshman in high school. Last time, 2005, Matt Hasselbeck and the guys hosting the trophy, going to the Super Bowl. It's been a long time coming. And anything I learned from that experience is you're not guaranteed to ever be back again. So I am ecstatic. I'm living in the moment. This is a great time of year for us. But let's get back into the keys of victory I had last week. And they're Manila. They were kind of cliche that most people say, like, duh. But, hey, that's what happened, and that's why we won the game. My keys to the game last week were to run the football. Okay, we kind of started getting it going against the Rams 2 weeks before, but one of the things was you got to run the ball. The next one was to limit penalties, and the last one was to start early. And we did all three of those. Clearly, Marshawn Lynch had one of his best games of the year. The only better game he had all year was his 145-yard rushing performance against Atlanta early in the season. And we did this with Bowie starting his first game at left guard. Dude hasn't played that position all year. Steps in, does a great job. We got the ball rolling. I'm pretty sure I read a stat that Lynch broke like 13 tackles in that game also. I mean, dude is a monster. So running the football, check. Limit penalties, we didn't get killed by the penalties on last Saturday. I mean, we had a couple. We had one that cost us on a holding penalty by Giacomini that cost us on a long pass play. But overall, I don't think penalties were something that killed us. And then the other one was start early. Yeah, we didn't blow their doors off like we did the last time they were up here, but you felt like we were dominating that game the entire way. Yeah, we come out with a couple of field goals, but we started early, just getting any points up on the board and making them, try to fight back in Seattle with the rain, with the 40-mile-an-hour winds, with the 12th man. It's a lot to overcome. And the Saints couldn't do it. And we get to move on and we get to keep playing because, like I said before, it's all about surviving and advancing. And also, we got another sneak peek at our boy Percy Harvin. Whew, and man, it's one of the things, you just feel bad for the guy. You just feel bad. So he's been sitting out, he's got the bum hip, all that stuff, finally comes back and, got dinged around a little bit. He suffered a blow to the head on just the third play from scrimmage. Probably got hung out to dry a little bit by Russell on that, but he gets a tough hit. They call a penalty. He gets shooken up. He comes out of the game. Comes back, ends up getting has three catches for 21 yards, and then gets hit again in the end zone on a pass just off his fingertips, and that one's what did it. He gets a concussion on that play and is done for the afternoon. But I still, even in those little plays that he had in that game, I still think you see the game changer that he can be. I mean, you get him in motion, you get him on an end around, anything like that. Guys have to get out of their lanes and they have to account for him. And, people kind of brought up, like, was he being targeted? I don't think he was maliciously being targeted. This is the team that just had their whole Bounty Gate scandal. I really don't think he was being targeted any more than any other wide receivers. And yeah, you see a guy who hasn't played all year and you get some shots on him, rough him up, remind him what this game's about. Yeah. Okay. I don't think they were maliciously going out there trying to hurt him. They dinged him up. The first one, blow to the head, they threw the flag. Second one, it was more of what Harvin did. It was more of the way he landed than the hit he took. He landed and smacked his head on the turf, and that's what did it. And, I still think, even though it was brief, he can show like a little glimpse of help this offense that some say are, really struggling. And I think we're doing okay. I think we're slowly coming back, and he's going to help us. But will he play in the NFC Championship game? We don't know. Today is going to be the big day for us. Practice today. We're waiting on the word from Pete and everything, but today and tomorrow is going to be a big deal because he got a little late start on his concussion protocol, and we all know how that is with all the lawsuits going on in the NFL. It's a big deal. It's not really in his hands anymore. So we'll see what the doctors say, but I would love to have him play in the NFC Championship game, get a week to rest, and then go handle it that next week. But I don't want to get ahead of myself because, yes, the big bad San Francisco 49ers are rolling to town. And you know what? Wouldn't have it any other way. There's no other team that I would rather handle and beat to go to the Super Bowl than the San Francisco 49ers. Who's got it better than us? Nobody. Yeah, I don't think so. Actually, we got it better than you because we're hosting the game. And let me just remind you, because I know you guys haven't forgotten, but this has been a place of horrors for you. Horrors. When Colin Kaepernick and Vernon Davis close their eyes at night, they should see CenturyLink Field and Cam Chancellor coming over the middle and 42-13, 29-3. They should just have nightmares. Nightmares. There's no way. But let's revisit the last two times the Niners came up to Seattle. Here was last year's game that the Seahawks dominated 42-13.
Kaepernick takes the snap. Pump fake left. Looks downfield. Being chased. Throws the back of the end zone. Intercepted in the end zone. It is Sherman. Richard Sherman picks it off. Jumps over Crabtree. Runs to the stands. And the fans go crazy. Seattle has kept the Niners out of the end zone again.
And now it's familiar. Kaepernick had a rough day that day. He 19 for 36, threw for 244, 1 TD, 1 pick. But, it was costly. And then we block a punt, we run it back. We just jumped all over him. Russell Wilson throws for 4 touchdowns, and now it's a huge game. If you guys remember last year, that's when the Seahawks kind of got it rolling. We just stomped out Arizona and Buffalo, and we're getting this playoff push going. Still, we had a fighting chance at winning the division, and the Niners came in, who just beat the Patriots, and it was a huge game. It was on national television. It was Sunday night, and we dominated them. They haven't been beat. We're the only team to handle them like that. And that team went on to go to a Super Bowl. We all know that. And that was kind of the beginning that really the cogs started turning. That's where we started getting the national attention and some of that national respect. Okay. Fast forward to this year, right when the schedule came out, we knew September 15th, prime time, Niners, Seahawks, national television, it's going to be a game. Okay. We had thunder, we had lightning. I was there. It was an incredible day. And again, even though it was a slow start, we only started off, we were beating them 5-0 at halftime after the weather delay. We ended up hammering the Saints, and this is one of the picks that sealed it.
Kaepernick out of the shotgun takes the snap. He looks. He fires. It's intercepted. It's Cam. He's at the 20, 15, 10. Cuts back against the grain down to the 2-yard line. Cam Chancellor just stood his ground. He picks off the third one of the night for the Seahawks defense. And to quote a good friend of mine, there is your dagger. Yeah.
Love it, Steve. But no, yeah, Kaepernick, he didn't play that great the time before. This time, awful. 13-28, 127 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 3 picks. QB rating of 20.1. So, yeah, Kaepernick has not played well when he's come up here, and the Seahawks absolutely throttled the 49ers. So they know that. It's going to be a game, and, yeah, they've gone, they're, road warriors, as you'd like to say now. They've won 2 road playoff games, but they know what it's like to come to CenturyLink. They know what that's like. But like I said, I'd have it no other way. And, as I've noted, Kaepernick struggles up at CenturyLink. Russell Wilson's taken a lot of heat, nationally for how he's played the last couple of weeks. Our offense hasn't been great. To be honest, our offense hasn't really fired on all cylinders since the last time we beat the Saints on that Monday night game. His last 4 games, let's see, 18 for 27, 206, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. 11 for 27, 108, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. 15 for 23, 172, 1 touchdown, 0 picks. And then 9 of 18, 103, 0 touchdowns, 0 picks. So, those aren't great numbers. Those aren't great numbers at all. And a lot of people throw around the game manager term, which I can't really stand. That's just me. I can't stand that game manager term because part of me is like, your game manager, that's what you're supposed to do. Don't turn the ball over. Take chances when they're there. Don't cost your team the game. Other people say, well, you want, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady type, where he's going to go out there and make the plays for you to win the game. He's not going out there trying not to lose it. And yeah, he hasn't been dynamite the last couple of weeks, but are you really going to call him a game manager? And him and Alex Smith the same? Because here's the thing. People make a lot out of stats. And you know what? I'll quote Brock here. Figures lie and liars figure. And that pretty much just means we don't need to get too caught up in the numbers sometimes. I'm a big stat guy myself, so I love numbers and stuff like that. But, okay, yeah, he has not played great the last couple of weeks. He's missed a couple throws. He's anxiously not trying to make that big turnover. And I'll be the first one to say that. I think he needs to play a little bit better. I think he could be a little bit more accurate. And if anything that's nervous, it's that he's been really accurate over his first 2 years, and he's been a little less the last couple games. But the dude, if you watch this whole season, you're telling me he's a game manager, the plays he makes? No, not at all. Not at all. And he, in his presser yesterday, he had a great cut, and he was just pretty much like, it's on me. And here's Russell Wilson from his press conference yesterday.
We have a great passing game. We can do things on time, on the money. We're explosive in the passing game, have been all year. We're in a great situation. We can do a lot of things. We're very, very versatile on offense, so it makes it tough on the defense. And so we're looking forward to that opportunity to get back out in the field again. And like I said, a lot of it's on me, and that's the exciting part about it. I'm always looking for a challenge.
There you said it. He's not pointing fingers. He's not pointing fingers that Percy Harvin getting hurt or our receivers aren't getting separation or they're not making plays. No, he's taking it on himself. He said, it's on me. It's on me. And That's what you love about Russ, and that's what I love about this guy. And he hasn't played his best football. He's done nothing to cost us the game. He's kept us in every game. He's extending plays, the play to Baldwin, him running out of the pocket. If Harvin probably times his jump right, that's a touchdown in the back of the end zone. The Seahawks were up 20-0 going into halftime. That game is done. He has a passer rating of over 100, and no one is talking about how bad he's doing and how much of a game manager he is. That's just a fact. Okay? Yes, his stats haven't jumped off the table. He hasn't been, throwing for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. We've seen him when his back's against the wall. We saw that in the Atlanta game last year. The dude can do it, and I am not worried about it whatsoever. I think people need to relax. And here's one cut that I got to play that just drives me nuts. This is around the horn yesterday.
You know what? I think it's going to come down to the quarterbacks. And I think the fact that Kaepernick has Davis and Crabtree and Bolden on his side and Wilson doesn't makes a big difference.
You know what? Seattle has the home field, but to me, San Francisco's got the better offense, the better defense. They're going to win the game.
Shaw?
It'll come down to which defense can get away with doing what it does without getting whistled.
Adonde.
I agree with Tim, and I think Seattle will be that defense.
What do you know, Frank Isola? What do you know? Get him off. Here's the thing, okay? The only two people to throw for more touchdown passes and have a higher quarterback rating than Russell Wilson over his first 2 seasons, Dan Marino and Peyton Manning. Those are a couple decent names. And I heard on Mike and Mike this morning driving into work talking about how they think I think it was Golick had some comment about, Russell Wilson's had about as many touchdowns as he has interceptions. That is just a bold-faced lie. The dude has thrown 26 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. Last time I checked, I'm not a math major, but that's not even close. Okay? Not even close. So, hey, bring on the hate. Russell Wilson is fine. Okay? I think he can play better, but to call him a game manager, no. He is nothing but that. Okay? He's not going to turn the ball over. And you know what? With all this, he's going to have a big game on Sunday. And here's the thing, though. We don't need him to throw the ball 30 times to win this game. If we have to do that, that changes what we want to do. We want to run the football, and that's what we do best. We're going to run the ball, okay? We run the football. Pete, and we're calling a little more conservative game because our defense is so dominant. Our defense just shuts people down. The Saints didn't run a play in our red zone until the fourth quarter. The game was almost over. I mean, our defense is dominant, so the play calling is toned down a little bit, and Russ and everyone else is doing what they got to do, okay? So I just don't want to hear any more of that Russell Wilson game manager crap because, no, it's dumb. But like I said, I wouldn't have it any other way, and it's Niners Seahawks. And let's just take a little look back of where the rivalry started. As we all know, Pete Carroll, John Harbaugh don't like each other. Say what they want in the media, but the guys aren't friends. Okay, let's go back to their Stanford USC days. And Danny O'Neill, host of Brock and Danny on 710 ESPN Seattle, wrote a great article about this rivalry game, or the rivalry between the Seahawks and Niners and Pete Carroll and John Harbaugh. Pretty much started with everyone knows the "What's your deal, man?" at the post-game meeting after the game when the coaches come to midfield and Harbaugh from Stanford and Pete Carroll come in and shake hands after the Trojans just got whooped by the Stanford 55-21 or something like that, ending their 38 or 35 game home win streak. But the controversy is what happened when they were up 48-21 and after a score, Harbaugh elected to go for 2. So Pete Carroll's pretty pissed off at the end of the press conference, like, dude, what's your deal? And Harbaugh comes back on like, what's your deal, man? And here's the thing. A lot of people, even probably people up here, didn't really feel bad for Pete and USC because they were putting beat downs on everybody in the Pac-10 for a long time. And a lot of people felt that Pete Carroll, did that himself. But that's kind of where it started. And it probably even started before that when Harbaugh first took the job and said they're not going to bow down to any university. And that was in 2008. And he's talking about SC. And then it went to until 2011, the first time the San Francisco and Seattle played each other as both them as coaches. And San Francisco beats us 33-17. Remember, Tavares Jackson was starting quarterback. Ted Ginn returns a couple TDs for touchdowns. Not a great day for Seattle. But here's where I really feel like the rivalry started. This is where I think it took off, and it took off for me. Christmas Eve, San Francisco, Seattle. Seattle's kind of got a winning streak. We're getting ready to make a playoff push because after starting as bad as we did, if we win 2 games at the end of the year, we're 9-7. We have a chance to get in. Anyway, so the San Francisco rolls to town. They haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher for I don't know how many games at that time. So it was Marshawn Lynch became the first opponent against the 49ers in 36 games to run over 100 yards. But the Seahawks kind of lose. Tavares Jackson fumbles late, and we didn't get a couple first downs to get that key field goal attempt, and we lose. But the thing that happened was in the press box. So how it works is the coaches come down the elevator, and you have all the coaches from both teams, and then you got all the press coming down on the same level, going to take the same elevators to go down to the field and the locker rooms to have their post-game stuff. And you got Greg Roman, offensive coordinator for the 49ers, coming through the press box and yelling, "Merry Christmas, everybody! Merry Christmas, blank," and just being all demonstrative and all this stuff. And it's a little nitpicky thing, but people don't forget. It's one of those things where it's like listening to Danny O'Neill and other guys that cover people in the press. That's just not what people do. Even regardless of what happened in the game, those elevator rides are usually dead silent. And Danny O'Neill, writer for the Seattle Times at the time, I believe, still before he became the host of Brock and Danny on 710 ESPN, pretty much called him on it. And then he, being a 40-winer, was just like, no, a lot of people were yelling, didn't take responsibility. It's whatever. It's a really nitpicky thing, and people think I'm stupid for even bringing it up. But little things like that, showing people up, people don't forget. Then the next year, 2012, the Seahawks go down there, lose on a Thursday night, 13-6. The Seahawks D gets trapped a little bit. 49ers hit a couple big plays. And afterwards, John Harbaugh's crying about how our DBs are manhandling their wide receivers. So that was a big bunch of nonsense and whatever. Say what you want. But then it led up to December 23rd, 2012, when the Niners came up to town and got their doors blown off, 42-13. The most lopsided loss in the NFL at the time, worst performance 49ers had in years, and that's kind of where the tide started to turn. And then they came back up here for that next Sunday night game this year, and we stomped them out again. And then we go down there and we lose another close game, but this rivalry is hot now. I mean, it is the best rivalry in football. It used to be the Ravens and the Steelers, but this is the same. This is hard hitting. I mean, you couldn't, as a fan, even if you have no affiliation to San Francisco or Seattle, as a fan, you couldn't ask for any more than this. I mean, Willis and Bowman and Whitner, and then you got Chancellor and Sherman and KJ Wright and Earl Thomas. I mean, these guys they're gonna hit you in the mouth, and it's big boy football. That's what it's gonna be. It is big boy football. And the thing I love about this game is we got beast mode. Okay, beast mode has 3 of the top 4 performances against the 49ers in the last 3 years. The dude eats against them. And while the Niners haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher this year, in our first meeting, Marshawn Lynch had 98, and we could have got 100, but that wasn't important to us at the time. We just wanted to win the game. But we got that guy. And that's just going to let me roll into my keys to victory. Okay? Number 1, dominate the line of scrimmage. Dominate. Be physical. We know this game is going to, just like Harbaugh described it, it's like getting a root canal done for 3 hours. It's going to be a smash-mouth game. We need to control line of scrimmage, and that's going to lead into our run game. We got to keep doing what we do, and Marshawn Lynch needs to get going. We got to shut down Frank Gore. We can't get pushed around. They got big guys up front. We can't get trapped. None of that stuff can happen. Okay, we need to dominate line of scrimmage. And like I said, we got to run the ball. That fits in with dominating line of scrimmage, and we got to start early. When we get these guys behind the 8 ball, they're going to start going, oh, crap. Here we go again. Crowd's going to get loud. You see Kaepernick in there, and he's in the huddle, and he's 2 feet from these guys, and he is screaming. Guys are right next to him. So we got to start early. We jump on them. They get behind the 8 ball. We get down 7, 10-0. I'm telling you, the floodgates open, and this game could get ugly. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but we got to start early, and that takes some of the pressure off of us, and I think we can do some big things. And then my last one is don't turn the ball over. Turnovers. We've been great about turnovers, and as long as we don't turn the ball over, especially with the way we're playing, we're relying a lot on our defense right now, turnovers could cost us the game, because when you're playing a tight game, especially the way we're calling plays and being a little more conservative, when you play like that, turnovers and little mistakes like that could lose a game. So dominate the line of scrimmage, run the football, start early, don't turn the ball over. And we are going to be going back to New York for a game, Super Bowl. That's going to do it for me for another edition of the Nasser Kyobe Show, NFC Championship edition. This has been a great time. I'm just talking about this game is getting me so freaking amped up. I cannot wait. This is going to be a great game. It's the best rivalry in football right now. Hawks, Niners, NFC Championship edition. I can't wait. We got a dominant line of scrimmage, run the ball, start early. This rivalry is intense. It's at a boiling point. CenturyLink is going to be rocking for the biggest game in Seattle sports history. I can't wait. Until next week, this has been a great show. I hope we're talking about getting ready for the Super Bowl. Again, credit all my sound to 710 ESPN Seattle. Until next time, guys.